drinking it, and why should we be drinking water? A man said to me, "Everyone tells me to drink water. You told me why." Drinking adequate water, the best time to drink water is between meals. Because if you drink water with your meal, that's a good way to dilute your stomach. So I always ask a person, how much water do you drink a day? These are some of the answers I get. Not enough. Not much. I don't drink water or my legs swell.
We know water is essential for life. That's the first thing scientists look for when they want to check if a planet has life or not. It's especially important for us considering that we are about 60% water. But is it really the ultimate medicine for everything?
He said after the first glass, the migraine went to a headache. And after the second glass, the headache went to a dull ache. And after the third glass, he had no headache.
Well, Barbara O'Neill believes water is essential for survival. According to her, drinking water is crucial for life, and it's even one of her 8 laws of health. You see, during 24 hours, we naturally lose almost 2 to 3 liters of water from our body. From this amount, 1.5 liters come from urine, 0.3 liters from your colon, 0.2 liters from your lungs, and 0.5 liters from your skin when you sweat.
We lose about 2.5 quarts a day, and that 2.5 quarts must be replaced. 2 quarts can come in the form of pure water, the other half can come in as we eat our fruits, our vegetables, maybe herb teas, maybe vegetable juice. So proper diet is important because the body cannot function, it cannot repair, and it cannot heal if it doesn't have nourishment. Nourishment is important, but water is also important because our digestive enzymes are made from water. So it's not only important to eat nourishing food, it's also important to drink water.
Now 0.7 to 1 liter is fulfilled from the fruits or meals we eat, but we still remain in a deficit of 1.2 to 1.5 liters. That's why you need to drink water to keep your body in a balanced state. Barbara has a strong belief that our body is naturally capable of healing itself, provided that we give it the proper nourishment. While eating healthy food is a good choice, she says that it's not enough because water is also important. One can even argue that it's more important for survival, given that you could live up to weeks without eating anything. But if you don't have water for 3 days, it's all over. Water is essential for a healthy body. It plays a role in digestion, clears out unwanted remains, and everything in between. She says that water is important for making enzymes and creating the right environment for them to work in. Plus, that's not all it does either. You see, water plays a role throughout your body in almost every function, and we are going to go through them one by one. Starting with cellular hydration. Ironically, water plays a huge role at a cellular level. The cytoplasm of cells is mainly composed of water, and the enzymes used for a variety of metabolic processes depend on water. These processes also need water to occur. Moreover, thanks to its high thermal capacity, water plays an important role in maintaining the temperature at a cellular level. And that's not all. Water also acts as a transporter for a lot of materials that go in and out of the cell. It helps in the movement of nutrients, ions, gases, and waste products. Plus, the water's polar nature allows it to dissolve and transport charged molecules like ions, which are crucial for maintaining cellular ionic balance and enabling electrical signaling in nerve cells. So, you must make sure there's enough water getting to your cells, but how do you do that when your cell is covered by a layer that repels water? You see, the cell is surrounded by a hydrophobic membrane called the lipid bilayer. Water can't cross through it easily and requires some help in the form of carriers or gates.
By what's called a bilayered membrane. This is a double-layered membrane. And the water needs help to get into the cell. So how do we help the water get into the cell?
Barbara claims that one of these gates is the sodium-potassium pump, which is responsible for maintaining a higher concentration of potassium inside the cells and sodium outside the cell. Now, when you consume a lot of salt, the sodium ions from it cause a disturbance in the osmotic gradient, which causes the water from inside the cells to rush to the outside and ultimately move to your blood. That's why salt can increase your blood pressure, as well as dehydrate you. To make things simple, she says that you can hydrate your cells better by making certain lifestyle choices, which include drinking lots of water so your cells can absorb more of it, and using Celtic salt instead of the regular one since it's rich in good minerals including magnesium, potassium, and calcium, which can have beneficial effects on blood pressure. Potassium, for instance, helps balance out the negative effects of sodium and aids in relaxing blood vessel walls.
De Langry, when he gets a patient with high blood pressure, you know what he puts them on? He puts them on the Celtic salt. Because what that does is that gets a proper balance of fluid in and out of the cell.
Next up on the list is its role in blood composition. Did you know that blood plasma is 92% water? That fact isn't just for some random trivia. It's to show you that half of the blood, which is 55% plasma and 45% red blood cells and other material, flowing through your veins is actually water. So not only is water important on a cellular level, but it essentially plays a part in connecting your body as well. Now, Barbara claims that the water in your blood is necessary for transporting nutrients through your body, and science is here to back her claims. If there were less water in your body, your blood would get thicker. This means that your body wouldn't be able to transport nutrients like glucose easily to the parts where it's required. And that's why it's scary for diabetics. The increased quantity of glucose in their blood would mean that the water from cells will seep into the blood due to osmosis, and that would cause high blood pressure as well.
Can't get in, the glucose can't get in. And so now the body says, well, looks like we're going to have to do our last resort. Let's just force it into the cell. What's that called? High blood pressure. So high blood pressure can be a result of malnutrition. High blood pressure can be a result of dehydration. High blood pressure can be the result of vitamin D deficiency, of mineral deficiency.
Moreover, hemoglobin in the blood is responsible for transporting oxygen throughout the body. But if you are dehydrated, this process could also be hindered. That's why you feel dizzy if you haven't had enough water. Speaking of transport, water also plays an important role in detoxification. According to the naturalist, the water in the blood is also responsible for helping remove waste materials. These materials can include metabolic wastes and excess electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and urea, which is a byproduct of protein digestion.
Water to drink, the fluid that God gave to man to drink, is water.
Water can remove this waste through three means: sweat, excrement, and urine. Water takes the waste to the kidneys, where it is filtered and removed to keep us in check. If you are dehydrated, you'll notice that you tend to urinate less frequently, which ultimately means that more waste is being kept inside your body. And that could cause you more harm than you can imagine. Another organ that water helps clean is the liver, which is the central hub of metabolic processes. Naturally, it should be full of toxic byproducts, right? So water takes out all of this waste so that your liver is safe. That's why if you have a bad liver, doctors tell you to drink water regularly. Moving on to the next part, which is its role in digestive health. You get thirsty whenever you eat something, so naturally, there should be some role in digestion, right? Well, water is important from the moment food enters your body to when it's removed from the body as well. Let's take a look. When food enters your mouth, your salivary glands release saliva, which is 99% water. This saliva not only lubricates your food, so it moves through your digestive tract with more ease, but it also contains enzymes that start breaking down the food into nutrients the moment it touches them. The water here provides a medium for transport and a medium where these enzymes can act. Plus, as we mentioned earlier, a few of these enzymes are made from water as well. Moreover, according to her, water also forms a mucus lining on your stomach walls. This layer helps your inner linings be safe from the harsh acids that are released to digest the food. Without this protective layer, the acids could cause heartburn and ulcers, but more on that later. Now, when the food reaches the absorbent part of the tract, water plays an important role here as well. You see, more watery secretions are shot into the small intestine from the intestinal lining itself, as well as from the pancreas and liver. Most nutrient absorption takes place here in the small bowel, and then digested nutrients pass to the watery environment of your bloodstream. As it reaches the final part of the tract, water uses the dissolved fibers to give the stool more bulk, as well as lubricate the area. This, according to Barbara, helps against constipation.
So what happens if a person is only going once a day? How can they encourage their colon to go more? Choose a high fiber diet, make sure they're well hydrated, make sure they're exercising. What if they're doing all of that and they're still only going once a week? And I've met some people that are.
Up next is its importance in brain function.
Our brain cells shrink when they don't have enough water. Headaches are common when we don't have enough water. Negative thought patterns can develop when our brain cells don't have enough water. I can get my hand to go in and out like that without pain because around every joint there's fluid. And that fluid is synovial fluid, and it is 99% water. In a state of dehydration, the body can take some water from there to maintain full blood volume in the major arteries and veins.
You know how guys ask their girlfriends if they've had any water whenever they complain of a headache? Well, it turns out that they are right to ask that question. Barbara claims that our brains are 75% water, as opposed to the rest of the body, which is still 60 to 70% water. She says that our brain is a hydroelectric organ, and that's why there's reduced brain function if we are dehydrated, since there is no hydro in us.
He rang me one day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was driving. He said, I don't know what's the matter with me. I've got a migraine. I can hardly drive. So you know what my first question always is? How much water have you drank? And he went, oh dear. He said, I haven't drank any water since I woke up this morning. So he woke up in the morning and had water. He had breakfast, must have got busy, had lunch, and now we are 3 in the afternoon. He is chronically dehydrated.
According to her, you can even develop negative emotions like anxiety and depression if you are dehydrated. She recalled her time as a psychiatric nurse, where she would meet patients, and she could just tell them that they hadn't had enough water. She related that to dehydration, saying that it's contributing to the reason that they are still in the psych ward. Moreover, she says that dehydration can cloud judgment and reduce cognitive abilities. If we are dehydrated, our brains can't function at their maximum capacity, causing us to struggle even at the stuff we might be good at. If you are too dehydrated, it can even cause a headache, which, according to her, is your brain's cry to give it some water. But headaches aren't the only thing that water can take care of, as Barbara claims that it's important for ulcer treatment as well. Ulcers are breaks in the lining of your gut, and they can be caused due to multiple reasons. One of them includes increased acidity or depletion of mucous membranes. Remember when we talked about how water helps in the formation of the protective mucous membrane? Well, in case of dehydration, these membranes are missing or are so thin that they can't protect the gut lining from the gastric acids, which basically burn down the walls and end up as ulcers. Now, we know that water is important for healthy digestion, but according to her, even its excess or drinking water while eating can be a cause of ulcers as well. She claims that this improper consumption of water causes the stomach pH to become less acidic, which ultimately increases the number of Helicobacter pylori bacteria, which are the #1 cause of ulcers.
Helicobacter pylori is blamed for stomach ulcers. Students, what's the cause of stomach ulcers? Well, the #1. It's actually dehydration.
So, how do you treat them with water? Well, she tells us about a study in which over 3,000 cases of stomach ulcers were treated by drinking water half an hour before meals. According to her, this water would seep into the ulcer holes and form the mucus layer, keeping it safe from the acids. And with time, the ulcers heal as if they were never there before. But for a regular person, how do you go about drinking water? How much should you drink? And when should you drink? If you are puzzled by these questions, don't worry. Barbara has your answer.
And a lot of people think they just wash the food down. They basically wash all their digestive enzymes away.
According to her, we should never drink water during meals and only half an hour before or an hour after a meal. Water reduces the acidity of your stomach. Pepsin, an enzyme responsible for the digestion of proteins, works best in an acidic environment. She claims that when we drink water, it dilutes the hydrochloric acid in our stomach and increases the alkalinity. This results in a less favorable environment for the enzymes, which ultimately leads to indigestion. And if you have trouble drinking a lot of water at the same time, you should drink it in intervals. Remember, you need to reach your 1.5 to 2 liter goal for the day. It's not a must to drink it all at once.
And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass.
And while you are at it, remember to skip the cold drinks and caffeine. While they do contain water and are made in it, these drinks actually cause more dehydration at the physiological level. This is why you still want more water, even if you've had some cold drink to take care of your thirst. Lastly, you should keep in mind that there is no such thing as an ultimate medicine. While water is extremely important when it comes to health, it's not the entirety of it. Instead, you should have a broader or holistic approach to it. You should take care of your hydration in combination with proper nutrition, exercise, as well as medical care whenever necessary. That's it for this video. What do you guys think? Do you drink enough water? Or do you struggle to get 2 liters? Let us know in the comments.